Derp, derp. All right, what's up, everybody? We're live. It's Tuesday evening. Time for another lovely installment of your favorite and my Android show, Attack of the Androids. Attack of the Androids, Androids. Got an IRC chat there on Freenode, irc.freenode.net. Check it out. Hashtag AOTA. Or is it pound? What do you say? Channel? Channel AOTA? How would you read that?
Pound.
It is, right? It's pound. Pound. All right, so you can come hang out in there with us and try and distract us during the show. It's always a fun game. So
that's not hard to do.
no, it doesn't take much. Very, very little, actually.
They should just call us the Distractables.
If you just like hop in there and say hi, you'll watch like everybody's eyes and then just whoa. You'll hear typing and stuff. It's really unprofessional.
Ooh, shiny object.
Really.
Darn.
So, but I will keep it up here just because I like to see it. So, yeah, here's the intro.
For centuries, we've been warned about little green men. Now, they are coming. They're coming for you. Prepare for the attack of the Android.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, February 3rd, 2015. This is episode 146. Tag of the Androids every week, Tuesday evening, right here at tagoftheandroids.com. Check it out. I'm Matt Lee. That guy right there, that's Eric F. What's up, Eric? How you doing?
Matt, a lot is up this week. I'm
Ooh.
back in the United States. I'm here with you, my American brethren.
Ooh, I like that. I feel the connection a little stronger than usually the connection is.
That little tingle.
Right. You're in the States. Good deal. Also, Nick Carroll back. What's happening, Nick?
Hey, glad to be back. And it looks like we've got a special guest with us as well.
Returning, used to host the show with us a while back. Completely got bored, lost interest in it like the rest of us, except we stuck around. He moved on to bigger and better things. Joey Kelly, how you doing, Joey?
Yeah, the bigger and better things were a marriage that I'm now divorced from. Yeah.
Hey, podcasting will do that. I can't tell you how many relationships I've gone through on the show. Yeah,
yes,
the show,
yes, we know about most of them.
That's right. The listeners could tell you. I couldn't, but I mean they could. So awesome. Good to have you back with us. Tagtheandroids.com/live. There's an IRC chat. You guys can hang out there. Pound AOTA on Freenode. So there you go. Let's see. You guys want to start things off at the bottom of the list because this was kind of following up with something we talked about last week. We heard that Cyanogen Inc. wanted to sort of, in an Amazon-esque sort of way, kind of pry Android away from Google. Maybe not necessarily Amazon-esque because Amazon kind of just took it and did their own thing. Cyanogen made it sound like they just want it. They're like, this is no longer yours, it's ours now. Of course, all of that is just semantics, I'm sure. But after that came out, Microsoft was like, yeah, I got 5 on it. What are we doing? Whose legs need broke? Like what are we doing here? So yeah, they've invested a little bit in Cyanogen because obviously having the same view, which is awesome because Windows Phone, I mean, holding strong at like 3% of the market share. Where are they at? I mean, it can't be very.
Yeah, any additional piece of the pie is more piece of the pie for them, so they want as much as they can get, I'm sure.
Right. And so this round they got 70 million. No one really knows how much of that was Microsoft's. There are obviously lots of other investors interested in what Cyanogen is doing here. Eric, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think we call this hedging your bets, which is totally fine. I think it's fine. Lest we forget that Microsoft makes a fair amount of money for every Android. I don't know if it's Android device or I think it's just Android phones. So every Android phone that gets sold, they get a cut. I think it makes sense.
They're going to be also in on any investor meetings since they have some capital. So
Well, and maybe they'll learn how to make an operating system people want to use.
Yeah. The last one based on AOSP didn't do so hot. So.
Well, and I think I kind of mentioned this on Breaking Android just briefly, but maybe this is what we've all been waiting for, is now this deal to happen so that we can finally have that dual boot dream machine that we've all been waiting for, Windows, Android, seamlessly just working together to bring you the best experience ever.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was going to say, I know Microsoft, it almost sounds like they've given up, trying to expand, the Windows Phone presence. Maybe I'm wrong and maybe I've misread them, but it seems like they've focused more on, promoting their services, putting their apps on Android rather than trying to take over Android or compete with Android. That's just how I've interpreted it, at least. So.
Well, Nick, I would agree with you prior to Windows 10.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think that this is really anything outside of Microsoft just seeing a business opportunity and trying to make money, especially because they're a minority investor in the $70 million round. So I mean they could be throwing in $1 million and it really wouldn't mean anything to them. They make enough money. I think this is just them getting a little piece of the cyanogen pie, and if Cyanogen Inc. becomes way more successful, if they become the breakout operating system in places like India, then Microsoft may take more notice and may do something else. But at this point, I don't see it as anything significant other than just sort of taking a jab at Google, again for the second week in a row.
What I keep picturing is like all of those investor meetings and like Microsoft just kind of in the corner being like, well, what if we put Windows Phone on them? And everyone just being like, shut up, Microsoft, like shut up, them just
Satya, sit down.
Yeah,
I'm done with you for now.
I keep picturing that, like whenever they're like, so does anyone else have any ideas? And they're like, wait, does anyone else besides Microsoft have any ideas? But yeah, as far as investments, of course, it's wise. Diversify,
I think every new Cyanogen build is going to boot up, and instead of a boot animation, it's just going to be Bill Gates drinking piss water, like he did at CES.
Well, at least now it'll have good reason to take 10 minutes to boot.
Yeah, you guys, somebody should go out there and do that. If there's not already that boot animation, it's required. Thank you.
I would crowdfund that. I would definitely crowdfund that.
I throw a dollar.
Cyanodows Mobile 6.0.
The ALS edition. Let's see. Anything else on that before we move on? I kind of want to talk about the Nexus 5 popping in and out and in and out and then back in and then out, but then put right back into the Play Store.
Yeah, last time.
Is it in?
It is. Is it in still though? Hold on. Is it still?
No, 16 gigabytes out. I just looked at it.
32 is in.
Jeez.
32? No,
Yeah,
32 is in. 32 is out in black.
Okay. Well, before the podcast started, I checked, and that was still there. So the 32 was still there.
But now it's out.
Yeah.
Man, that's
they're both gone.
Yeah,
someone should code up an IFTT for that.
Yeah.
Bing, it's in. Bing. Oh,
just kidding.
Like
the story was that it wasn't stock.
Yeah, that's why
I just feel very lucky that I feel lucky that I was able to pick one of these up, and I think Nick, you did too, correct?
Yes, thankfully so, because my Nexus 4 died, and then like right after it died, the Nexus 5 was available on the Play Store. So as soon as I found out, I went ahead and just clicked and ordered it. So yeah, been loving it.
I do. What I'm loving are the comments. Somebody had mentioned, like, oh, hey, you can have a Nexus 5 as your backup phone, and Blaze HN responds with, Nexus 5 is a backup phone. Wow, that sounds elitist. Backup phones for me are the Moto E or Moto G at most.
Wow.
Poor people are funny, aren't they?
You know what sounds elitist? Leaving D-bag comments like that.
I like it.
Well, to be fair, it is a year old, but it's still a pretty rock-solid performer. So, it's stock Android. But, yeah, I've enjoyed it for the few months that I've had it so far.
Yep. I gave it to my wife. She had a Nexus 4 prior to this as well. She's really liking it, and and this is, I know this is like, over a year old in news, but I have to say I think that they've done the wireless charging better than any other device, say for the Palm Pre. They have done wireless charging very, very well with this phone.
Yeah, I've got a wireless charger at work on my desk, so whenever I get to work, I just prop this down there. But the interesting thing about the recent re-release of the Nexus 5 and unfortunate quick selling out of it is, like a month ago or whatever, they had announced, hey, we've run out of stock and we're no longer making any more, so therefore whatever you see on the Play Store is probably it. And of course that sold out, and so a lot of us really didn't think anything of it. We thought, okay, it's gone, soon it'll be gone from the Play Store, and all of a sudden more stock comes. So that's why it's yet another news item, because pretty much everyone had given up hope that this would be around. It's not like there's a Nexus 5 replacement. There's not a Nexus 7 immediate replacement. You pretty much have to get the Nexus 6 or the Nexus 9. There's no smaller non-phablet phone or non-large tablet. So it's nice to still see this, even though there's not a replacement for it. So,
do you think this will make them want to get more made, because it is like that? It came out at the time where like you're not really seeing a giant increase in memory or processing. Like, it's at a good spot to where it will be useful for stuff like that, regardless of if you're getting the LTE antennas or whatever upgraded all the time with new phones. Like, that has a good, set of hardware that will last you for quite a while. Like, it would be a great backup phone if I didn't have my 3 Moto Gs on standby.
Yeah. One of each color. Yeah, well, I mean, the cool thing about this, is that, this is a flagship, so it's going to last 2 years and perform, by the end of the 2-year period, still pretty decently. That's pretty typical of your flagships. And for it being so inexpensive, it's still worth it. It's only a year in, a little bit more than a year in, and it's still a pretty impressive device by today's standards. I mean, it's a Snapdragon 800. Your lowest end, brand new 400 and 600 processors probably aren't performing better than this. So,
we saw this in the PC world probably, I'm going to say starting about 5 years ago. There was a line in the sand where people simply just said, I don't need any more performance than this. There's no compelling reason. I don't want to pay the money. And there's no reason for me to do this. I mean, I'm sitting here yammering away to you guys through a webcam and an audio jack on a Pentium dual-core machine that's now, 3 years old, I think, plus.
And the only people, if you think about it, the only people that were really keeping that alive were like hardcore gamers or like people doing things that required overclocking and liquid cooling and all of that. Like, your normal everyday people are rocking all-in-ones now. Like,
it's a law of diminishing returns. And like, you have a 1080p screen on a 5-inch smartphone. It's like, do you really need Quad HD? Do you really need 4K? What's the tangible, visible benefit? What's the cost for that?
Less battery life.
Yeah. So
the benefit.
It's like the screen. We're running out of things there. Like the processor on a smartphone now is as powerful as something, a pretty powerful PC, 8-10 years ago, and it fits in your pocket and generally doesn't overheat it. So,
Well, I disagree, though. I think that people are still buying, they are still buying new computers and they're carrying, and it's not for the processor speed. It's for the processor efficiency. The efficiency, directly relating to battery life. But
I'm also talking about the difference between a desktop and a smartphone in terms of the desktop has become a commodity, wherein you don't buy a new one every 3 years, you buy it when you need to. The same is starting to become true for phones. The fervor around the next big phone, the next big phone is starting to die because there's so many next new phones. And again, we're starting to see evolution of phones and devices and PCs for that matter, not revolution.
Well, and what else can they do without being gimmicky? Like, you see certain phone manufacturers trying to do like neat ways to log in or authenticate with your device with the fingerprint thing or whatever, the look at your face thing. You see other ones doing like god-awful overlays and themes over Android. I mean, like, what else can you do at that point? You're basically
the hardware
making
so cheap that it fails faster and you have to buy another phone faster.
Right, okay. But then the carriers are on that, unless you're not subsidizing. If you're just rolling your own.
There is still planned obsolescence. That's still a factor. But one of the things is that you can build smaller PCs you can have monitors with thinner bezels or less bezels, a thinner profile. You can buy an iMac for $2,800 or whatever. Sure, it's expensive, but it's got like an edge. It's like 5 millimeters or something like that. It's got a 5K display, and everything fits inside what is essentially a big monitor. It's an all-in-one unit. So we're seeing all-in-one PCs as well. We're seeing notebooks turn into ultrabooks. We're seeing really thin tablets. So we're seeing, to some extent, the refinement of the form factor. That's the physical side of it, the hardware side. But on the operating system side, you're seeing maybe better UI or more features built in the operating system, stuff like that. So those are the kind of things I guess you could focus on. But difference between a 1080p display and a 4K display, it's 4 times as many pixels or whatever, twice the resolution, but it's a lot of diminishing returns, and we're kind of seeing that with smartphones and everything else. So that's why Nexus 5 can be over a year old, but with a 1080p screen, still a pretty powerful processor, decent battery life, stock Android, and some features like wireless charging, it still has a lot of value, and that's why they don't even necessarily have to drop the price on it. It'll still sell for $350 or $399, $400 for a 16GB version, and sell out just like that on the Play Store. So that's why phones like the Moto G and the Moto E, are taking off as well. So anyway,
well, for me, those have kind of replaced my desktop and everything. Like I'm on my phone now. I don't have a tablet anymore, but I have my Chromebook. And I'm like, rarely do I come back here into the studio to do a lot of that stuff, unless I need to use Photoshop or podcast stuff like Cool Edit. I'm doing everything else. And granted, like, the world I live in is different than a lot of people. It's just all in the browser. It's all like running WordPress, CSS, PHP. All that stuff is done in the browser at this point. Like, I rarely come back and sit down at the desktop.
Well, I've done some of these podcasts as well as on Yats where I've just used my smartphone or my Chromebook, or a tablet. I've done one of each, actually. So you're saying that, you can do a lot more on these.
Inside those is what's in the system you're about to go sit down in front of. It's gotten to that point.
I mean, if you've got a dual-core machine that can run, 1.2 gigahertz or whatever equivalent processing power, when you subtract the lower efficiency of a Windows operating system, you can easily get equivalent performance out of an Android device that you can hold in your hand. It's possible. It can be done.
Yeah,
Chromebook
you can
made that really up front for me, because that was kind of my first experience of using like it's an Intel. It's got the i3, but it's Chrome. Like, it's not having to boot up and load Windows, and like watching how fast this thing, it's pretty amazing for what's in it. And I mean, it's so light and tiny.
Yeah, my 2-year-old Chromebook is able to play 1080p video without any frame droppage. At 60 frames per second. I hooked it up to my 1080p monitor, so while it's running a 1080p display plus its own display, load up YouTube, and I could still play 1080p full motion video, pretty good. And that's what it's coming down to. Can your PC do that? And another point, like YouTube, about half of all their video views come from mobile devices like a smartphone or a tablet. So.
And I recently I ended up getting some stuff from Amazon. I thought I'd give the Prime thing a try, and so I was looking on what they have to stream there. And I'm like, on my Chromebook, I'm like, all right, well, how am I going to Chromecast this? And so I look it up, and like, there's a way to go in there if your Chromebook will handle it. In Amazon Prime, you switch it from Silverlight to Flash, because for some reason Silverlight, which is what Netflix uses, but in this use case, it won't work. It'll like lag and be jittery. You switch it to Flash, and then you can Chromecast the tab, full screen it, and boom, it's like, I've been watching so much crap just doing it that way through the Chromebook, Chromecasting a tab, which is rendering all that on, a browser basically. It's pretty impressive. Let's see, moving on. We were talking about kind of the Moto E's and the Moto G's and stuff. Android Central had an article about some Motorola numbers talking about how they sold 10 million phones in the last quarter, which is up 118% from what they were doing a year ago. Lenovo was kind of down from what I read in another article. I don't know if they get into that here. Yeah, $89 million loss, but that's what happens when you acquire things. You spend money on them, and maybe you don't get all of that back. But yeah, it seems like a really, just as far as Lenovo buying it, it seemed like a smart move for them. They have this great smartphone manufacturing end that does awesome stuff, and the numbers are showing it, definitely. A lot of people I see around have, you know, these Moto devices, the lower end ones, if they're on a not prepaid, but the burner phone plans, like the no contract ones. So
yeah.
And
yeah,
Republic Wireless, they're big pushers.
Yeah.
I don't use it, but I keep seeing the emails and everything they send, and they have the whole Moto set for
the
you.
whole Moto lineup, yeah.
Republic Wireless Moto G right here.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, see, they made good. This generation of stuff. This is the first gen Moto X. Like, this was a really solid device, and all the ones they made right around that were really good.
Yeah, and that really signaled, you know, I don't know what you would call it, the turnaround for Motorola, although it wasn't apparent immediately, but they had a popular phone, maybe didn't sell as well as they would have liked, but it was pretty popular, and they turned around, sell a second generation of that, and their Moto G lineup is actually, I think, their most popular phone ever, particularly in some countries like India. They've sold...
Yeah, they hit those markets, right? They were emerging,
Yeah.
they didn't have much of a choice. They came in with a really good price point and a really good device, and yeah, they killed it, for sure.
Yeah. So they've sold more than twice as many phones as they did, you know, the year previous. So that kind of makes them more attractive for someone like Lenovo who wants to expand, particularly into the Western markets even more, you know, with the mobile devices. Because Lenovo phones and tablets don't really sell well over here. Maybe they sell well in Asia, but not here in the States. So they have an inroad now through Motorola. So
pretty good numbers. We mentioned this just a little bit earlier. HTC did make a rap video to diss Samsung and Apple, which is pretty awesome. Are you familiar with Doc G? I'm not either. But he's got a diss track here. So yeah, I don't know. We'll put links to it. I don't want to play it, but yeah, you just know that there might be some fool getting shot over some beef that started over some damn cell phones. Just know that.
Well, we'll say this: the guy that's doing the primary singing in this video, he's actually one of the two brothers that made up PM Dawn. I don't know if you ever remember. It was like Set Adrift on Memory Bliss or something. Some song that was really popular. They were kind of a one-hit wonder back in I think it was the early '90s. But anyways, so I didn't recognize who they were, so I did a little research, a little wiki action. Sure enough, PM Dawn
definitely sounds familiar. I feel like that right at the beginning of when.
See, that's pretty crazy. But the video, to put it politely, is terrible. To be politically correct, is abysmal.
You would think. I wonder why him. Like that's kind of an obscure name if you're gonna go like for battle greatness, right? Like I'm sure an Eminem or something like that, a Disaster, or somebody in the actual battle, you know, king of the whatever those are, those, you know, what's that? What's the one that you always see fight videos come out of? World Star, right? Like there's a whole huge community there of battle rappers that they could have easily given money to and had something that actually made, you know, Apple cry a little bit. But instead, they got this guy. I don't know. That's cool. It's a good idea. I think you wasted your money though.
I thought it was hilarious. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold the crown or whatever. Like I thought it was great.
Over and over, yeah. It's like we ran out of. We're gonna just chant this the rest of the video and watch us flail around.
It was horrible. It was horrible, but it was funny.
It was funny.
The Dick in the Box guy. Why didn't they get them to make one? They would have.
Like Lonely Planet.
Right.
Probably would have cost HTC a little more money, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
You think they just gave this guy a phone and a Re?
Yeah.
I think they gave him like a coupon for a double cheeseburger, and you know maybe a free like flurry or something, and sent him on his way.
He's probably going to get a mask upgrade. You know, he kept wearing that mask throughout the video. It's like, what in the world? Is like some sort of predator? What's going on?
Invest in some bodyguards and bulletproof vests. If we know about anything about rat beefs, this isn't going to end well.
You know, Eric's not as far off as you might think. You'd be surprised how many Hendrix albums were recorded for a case of wine.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, when it happens, I called it, and I'll pour out a little liquor right now for this homie. It'll escalate. It's not gonna happen right away. Samsung's gonna do something right, and then Apple will come out, and then he'll respond, and then somebody will say something about somebody's mama, and then it's over. Watch yourself. Gonna get them jewels run. Does this make you, as a hip-hop fan, as a millennial, as the demographic, the premier demographic of every and all ad marketing firm?
The video really spoke to me. It got me right here.
One love, one love.
Nick speaks for all the millennials, obviously.
Yo.
For those that are watching, if you feel the need to, feel free to throw up. This is the time. Yeah.
I think it's different, I guess, right?
It's certainly unexpected. I mean, who would have expected an HTC rap video? Not me. Not this guy.
I think if they just don't dwell on it too long, just move on
just
to a new wacky thing.
Let it go away.
It'll be
what
fine.
What will the response be? What can we expect to see from a Samsung?
I'm only interested in a response from Dr. Dre at this point.
That's
see how that
true,
goes.
right? Apple and Beats, like they can actually put together some rap beef if this needs to go there.
We might see a legit music video on MTV, yo.
You're gonna be like,
that's why the HTC phone wasn't pushing around an iPhone. Yeah. They know they can't compete. What's Samsung gonna do?
That's true.
Gangnam Style. Come on, that's old. It's not happening anymore. Psy's not coming back.
Samsung has had some pretty terrible videos though, so let's don't poke the bear here, please no.
That's
so what's Motorola gonna do? Get salt and pepper?
Where's this gonna go? Yeah, with the push it.
I'm down for that.
I'm down for that. Spinderella. Oh man, it is interesting to see what happens when these companies get too much marketing
money.
I guess it's like funny to look at where a room full of like 50 to 80-year-old rich men like end up going. Like, who was the guy that was like, you know what, rap is really hot right now. Rap is huge right now with the kids, with the Eminems and the Kanyes. You know, like this is yeah, you're onto something.
I could more imagine this being like somebody our age just being like, no, listen guys, seriously, hip hop video. We'll put this shit on Vine. It'll be awesome.
Meanwhile, some executive in his 60s is like, hip hop? Is that like hi-fi?
No, we don't want any marsupials here. All right.
Let's see. The Australians did that.
An interesting article on Fandroid talking about a little piracy. Maybe not something you hear a lot about as far as smartphones go, unless you're into like Cydia, jailbreaking, rooting, all of that nefarious behavior. But yeah, they had an interesting article about the developer of Today Calendar Pro. Not an app I use because I have an Android device and it comes with a calendar app, but maybe somebody needs more from their calendar app. I don't know. But apparently 85% of the people that use this Calendar Today app, they sideloaded it. They stole that biz from this gentleman. And at $6 a user, I'm not math, but that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
I'm not Matthew.
No, you're right. You're not math.
No, I'm Matthew.
One letter away from math.
That's true. Eric, you're a developer. how mad do you get when people rip off your amazing apps?
Well, when I make one, I will let you know. Well, I think that this guy he's going about it the right way. If you read the article, he talks about how he said the majority of people who pirate it wouldn't have bought it anyway.
That's
so
true.
It's not as if you're losing.
That's very true.
He said it's not as if I'm losing 85% of my revenue. So it's good. We're starting out, our mind's in the right place. The best part is what he's doing about it, which is he's gonna be implementing. What's that?
He's putting malware in it. That was my guess.
Similar to malware.
That's what I do.
No, he's
like, you want to steal my
actually
shit?
Gonna
watch this.
We've seen this before, like with some games. What he's going to do is he's going to put code that when it recognizes that you've sideloaded a copy, that you've pirated the app, it's going to impose a whole bunch of pirate-themed things made to annoy you into your application.
Like Thar.
So you might have a yeah. Maybe they'll make you walk the plank.
Today's calendar reminder brought to you by the letter R.
R. That's awesome too, right? Because it pops up a thing. It's going to be like, hey, I just want to let you know in 5 minutes you need to leave so that you're not late to walk the plank. R. That's so awesome.
Yeah. And then maybe some people will, if I guess in his mind, if you want to put up with this stuff, sure, that have the app for his own entertainment maybe, or he just feels better about it. But the idea is that maybe some people will stop and think, I use this a lot, maybe I'll just pay the $6. I won't get a Starbucks today or something. So I gotta hand it to him. I think this is much better than bitching about it and throwing a fit and pulling your app or whatever other people have done. I think this is a really good approach.
When I do like his approach as far as like what we've seen music companies and like bigger companies that have the money and resources to go after people and sue them for like ridiculous amounts. He's like, I'm gonna use my time, I'm gonna make my app even better, and I'm gonna ask myself, why don't people want to buy it? Is it too easy to pirate? Am I making it too easy to be a pirate? I don't know. Is it too expensive? $6 for an app, that might be a little bit. If it's not worth $6, how can I make it worth $6? I mean, you could lower the price, I guess, but that's a neat way to look at it. How can I improve this rather than how can I get those, like how can I go after these people and sue them and take their money that is rightfully mine?
Well, I think
should do. Oh, sorry, Nick, not to cut you off, but you know what he should do?
If we're gonna all talk at once, can we get in the same tone? Maybe like an E minor.
Would be like an acapella group.
Go ahead, Nick.
What he should do is he should force. Oh yeah, funny. He should force the default reminder sound to go full loud all the time, and it should say something like, your calendar reminder is ready. By the way, you haven't bought this app yet. Perhaps you should be less of a cheapskate. Thank you. Or something like that. Or maybe, you didn't buy the app, did you, matey? Or something.
I think it should go through their address book and then email everybody in it and be like, can you lend this guy like $1? Because apparently he's too cheap to support.
Well, it is a calendar app, so you could set out reminders, on the daily.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, you get all sorts of permissions. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he wanted to, he could get really down and dirty and like pirate some booty here, with the things that people will allow a calendar app to do. But yeah, no, that's really cool. He got the idea from Reddit. He said it's pretty neat. So, yay! More devs should be this intuitive with their. Yes, Eric.
How did you know I wanted to say something? Do I make a face?
Yes, you made that face. You have a
You made the face of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a thought and I'm looking for the mute button. I can sort of understand where this guy's coming from, though. Like, I think I would probably be more pissed off if I were him, because there are a lot of other calendar apps out there. There are a lot of free ones. There are a lot of cheap ones. But these people have chosen to take his, which he's priced at $6. I can understand if you think that's too much. And they've chosen to pirate it. I would say 85% of this 85% are assholes. Just throwing that out there. He's cool. The people that pirated his app are not.
Fantastic.
Do you disagree, Matt?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I got distracted with all of this.
Well, I do think I do think he can take the approach of essentially treating it, like shareware, just severely limit its abilities, and then put reminders, hey, you can download this app here or whatever, or pay for the full version here. So that would be a good option.
There is a free version already. I just realized this from the article. There's an ad-supported version.
Oh,
so
wow.
these people have even gone so far as to say, no, fuck those ads. I'm gonna pirate this $6. I hope you have a virus. I hope you have a virus that does worse to you.
Above and beyond, right? I was gonna start talking about how the Verizon is they're teasing us, those of us on Verizon, with the Nexus 6. It was there and then it wasn't. It was in, then it was out, then it was in. Now it's coming soon. So that's cool, but the article won't load, so that's not cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I would be interested to see how well it's going to be supported. That's the big thing, because Verizon has been terrible with supporting Nexus devices, as you all well know. I don't think so.
You don't think so? I don't think so either, because we haven't seen one since the G-Nex, and that was a terrible debauchery.
Yeah, and it didn't go well for the LTE version of the Nexus 7 either. For getting that natively, through Verizon, it took them months to do that, even after lots of complaints. And I know that they've kind of turned things around because Motorola, sells Droid phones for the last couple of years for them. But they've still not been very good to Google's Nexus line. But we'll see how it goes this time. I would rather see them actually come through and become a decent, carrier, for this line. We'll see how it goes though, with regard to updates and how much stock they'll have and how much trouble it will be for people to get the Nexus 6,
We talked about a while ago, one of the big problems with supporting these Nexus phones on Sprint and Verizon was the CDMA thing. But, just according to some of the searches that I've done, the Nexus 6 will be capable of doing voice over LTE. So maybe the support of this device on Verizon would not be as bad because you're not having to deal with all that CDMA, all the CDMA code, all that crap when it comes to updates. Maybe it'll be easier.
But you do, though, because if it's not getting a good LTE signal, it's dropping down to 3G, which is still CDMA, right? So would it just not have that capability, and then you would just not have connection in those? I don't know. I live in an area where that happens quite a bit. It'll drop down.
That's a good point.
And if it doesn't have that capability, it'll just lose signal completely. I don't know. Maybe they should upgrade their.
Maybe that's what you deserve.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe you're right. I should not be bringing technology into nature like that. That's my mistake, and I apologize.
Dick. Get back on the mountain. Leave the phone in the car.
I know.
User error.
I know. It's hard though, man. It's really hard. You get the best signal on the chairlift, but in the parking lot, there's nothing. It's awesome.
You just ride the chairlift all day, you're trying to download shit.
You're trying to get some work done, you guys. God.
Well, the thing that is curious to me with regard to Verizon and the Nexus 6 is Google themselves have had a hard time selling the Nexus 6. From their own Google Play Store, and I'm not sure how Verizon would keep this in stock if Google can't keep their own Nexus 6 in stock. The 64 gig version of the Nexus 6 is sold out like that every time. I've got a friend or a classmate, who's now a friend, who has been trying to get the 64 gig version of the Nexus 6 since it came out, and he still hasn't been able to get it because it's sold out all the time on the Google Play Store. So, and he doesn't want to get a 32 gig version. So.
Well, you would assume though that if that was the case, they would have their own stock, right? They would have stores of it. They're not just forwarding you off to the Play Store where it's like, sorry, sold out.
Yeah.
Try again Tuesday. But it is cool being on Verizon to see that. I mean, I'm kind of stuck with the Motorola stuff unless the Nexus has like active notifications. I kind of can't live without active notifications. Like that is a huge. I need to see you. But yeah, it'll be cool to see another Nexus on there. Let's see. The Oxygen OS images have been leaked a little bit, a little leaky. Have you messed with these at all, Eric? For Oxygen OS? Have you put one on?
Please tell me more.
Have you put one on your one yet?
Well, I don't think the ROM itself has been leaked. It's more that OnePlus is showing, what it looks like. They have a YouTube video where they basically show it booting up, and they also have been showing like screenshots of this new operating system. So like, I don't know, several months ago they basically held like a like a vote, like a poll or whatever. Here are a bunch of names, for our own custom ROM for OnePlus.
Hold on. Are you telling me that when the headline says alleged OnePlus Oxygen OS images surface, you're not saying like these are images that you can mount and install? These are pictures.
Yeah.
Why would you call them images?
Yeah,
why wouldn't you just call them screenshots?
That could be a little bit of SEO. I don't really know, but
yeah, that's unfair because we all know that images was used for computers way before it was used for pictures. You are correct, Matt. And I stand behind that.
Thank you.
Well, no, I mean the title, the summary does sound like that, so I believe that's a little bit of SEO there. But anyways,
tell me about these leaked images, please.
So yeah, the leaked images are literally pictures, like 5 different screenshots. Like 4 of them are different wallpapers they use, and another one is, here's a picture of the app launcher, and it's actually different. But the video that they played on their own YouTube channel is basically booting up. Here's a stock launcher, and it looks exactly like stock Android. So what I think the deal is, they're starting from scratch. They're building their own stock Android, design, and they're putting their own custom launcher on it, and that's essentially what they're going to put on this. So,
which gives them a leg up on when Amazon did that, right? Like they have a way better version of Android stripped down to stock to start from.
Well, the OnePlus people being the same as the Oppo people, they had an operating system that they had already created, the Color OS, which this looks kind of similar to. They had kept it pretty like plain and stuff. It wasn't bad, but I mean it wasn't great. Screenshots made it seem much better than it was.
Yeah, Oppo has Color OS, and then they of course partnered with Cyanogen to have their own version there, and then of course OnePlus, it likely, I think they're probably trying to have some similarities with Color OS. Maybe they can sell it, in Asia, and maybe it'll be more popular than Cyanogen there. Maybe that's the purpose. I don't really know.
I have a feeling that they're not going to have 2 separate developments going on simultaneously within the company. I can totally see them doing, like saying, like, okay, we're gonna finish out this contract with Cyanogen, see how that goes. But whatever this is, maybe they slap a different name on it, but it's gonna be the base of Oppo phones as well.
Well, what it sounds like, at least from what I've read, and I don't think I've read everything on this, but from what I've read, it sounds like, maybe this is an insurance policy. I don't really know, like if something happens with Cyanogen, but it sounds like they're going to have their own OS, and they're going to call it Oxygen OS. So,
good deal. There's a cool video of it on the OnePlus One on Android Authority too. We'll throw a link to that so you can check it out at takingtheandroids.com. Yeah. You want to talk about Micromax and Samsung and just going head-to-head about who is the largest? I am the largest. Did Micromax rap battle Samsung?
Pretty much, and at least in India, they appear to have won. So Samsung has been traditionally the largest manufacturer or largest seller in India, from what I've read, but Micromax recently, at least in the last quarter, took over, and they basically have sold they're like 22% of the market as opposed to 20% of the market for Samsung. So they're the largest Indian handset maker currently, and they're really based out of India. But you know, they're actually beating out Samsung. So that's the first Android OEM that I know of offhand that is selling better than Samsung in a market. So it's not China.
It's cool to see a bunch of other manufacturers coming at them in those markets.
Yeah, the thing about Micromax is they have a wide range of phones as well. Maybe not as many as Samsung, but one of their phones is actually an Android One phone. Maybe they have more, but I know they have at least one Android One phone that's around $100 in terms of cost in American dollars, and it's somewhat similar to the Moto E or Moto G. So you know that's something that they're doing. So.
I find it interesting that we're hearing more about these guys ever since the Android One announcement. And after that was announced, just reading up on the internet, most people were in complete agreement that these phones suck. Like they're really horrible.
They're like the Nokia
I don't even
X.
know what we could compare them to.
They're like the Nokia X,
like
the Nokia X, and the Moto E, around that range, probably less.
Yeah, like price-wise, I think you're right. But like build-wise, quality-wise, I mean, these are supposed to be just like trash phones. So I don't know if the success is because of Android One, or if it's just simply a matter of it's the phone people can afford. You know, everybody has a cell phone. Maybe not everybody has a home.
Maybe a lot of marketing on their end in India, maybe a lot of marketing there. But Micromax, at least right now, is the 10th largest handset maker in the world. That's because of their presence in India.
Let me throw something at you. Why does Walmart continuously beat the snot out of almost every other retailer on the planet? And
because
the answer
Amazon.
Well, Amazon's not a retailer; they're an e-tailer. So you gotta, mix in your metaphors. But the reason for that is because they offer such inexpensive stuff that people are willing to let it be crap because it costs so much less than the good stuff.
And you can make lots of it.
Just really lowering that bar. For
I mean, I've started to buy an awful lot of my hand tools and power tools at Harbor Freight, long known to be the world's cheapest, junkiest tools. Well, here's the thing. I ran the numbers. I went up there and I bought 2 cordless drills with lights and batteries for $50. I can't go into Sears and buy one for anything less than $100. So I can theoretically burn up 3 of these things and continuously buy a new one before I'm even at the break-even point.
Yeah, you have lots of spares and backups, and if you lose some components, you've still got everything else. Yeah.
If I lose one drill, I got 2 batteries now for my other drill.
Yeah.
Life Hacking, ladies and gents, by Joey Kelly. Buy cheap and just not worry about it. That's nice.
I'm already living that lifestyle. I know how that goes.
This not by choice,
for you, because it's not working so good for me.
Yeah.
What else? You guys want to talk about the LG G3?
Yeah. Well.
And all of their copyrights from 3 to 9. Why not the G10? And what about the G6? Now that's a Pontiac vehicle, or at least it used to be. Also, a plane that is in rap songs. Not to mix metaphors.
Like a G6.
Like a G6, right? Also, isn't it an Apple? Wasn't it one of the Apple? They had the G4.
The G4, yeah.
Did they not also have the G6?
Well, they're trademarking it, I guess, for handsets. But yeah, they apparently applied at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, a while back for all the G3 through G9 monikers. I don't know what you call those. The name essentially.
Letters and numbers.
Alphanumeric combination.
Alphanumerics. That's crazy. That they're
getting. They stopped the G5 on the PC side of things, I think.
Also a Pontiac G5.
Yeah, that's true.
Not as nice as the G6, but
yeah, they were recently granted by the U.S. Patent and Trade Office. Hey, you can go ahead. Yeah, So at least for the next several years, we'll see the G number line.
Possibly. Possibly. Probably.
You know, at least they dropped the Optimus line. That was kind of a bad name for them. So sticking with G this and G that was pretty good.
Optimal and Optimus and Optimum and yeah, that's poop.
I was still waiting for the Optimus Prime phone.
Nah. Michael Bay
probably never
that
happen.
for me. I don't.
But I wanted it to like spontaneously turn from a phone into a Kenworth and then back.
Their phones have actually been pretty decent for all the crap we've given LG. Their latest phones are pretty nice.
Yeah, they focused a lot on actually developing flagships. I guess from really the G2
on actually not making crap.
Yeah.
Other manufacturers, you could take a note out of what LG's doing over here and also focus on not making crap. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Now, how long do you think that these, like the G3 through G9, how long do you think it's going to last them? Is this a 3-year pipeline of devices? Is it 4 or 5?
They release them once a year, and there's usually a Pro version, which is usually a competitor to the Note. But and that's usually, you know, like Samsung, they stagger their S line with their Note line every 6 months or so. They're probably going to do something similar with LG. They tend to do that. So, but anyways, so once a year, G3, G4. So we're looking at 6 more years.
Yes, Eric.
I'm gonna put stop it.
You know, Eric, we're just looking
I don't
at
like
you.
this at all.
It's the
Eric,
best game ever. I'll tell you how after the show.
Poker face.
Just my head leans in. I don't know. It really freaks me. Watch the video. If you guys watch the video of this and tell me how they. What am I doing?
All right, everyone.
Micro expressions apparently.
I can't tell you. See what I did there?
I'm gonna guess that this is gonna be 3 years. This is a 3-year thing, and not all these are gonna come out because at some point we're all gonna get sick of the G this, G that. I'm surprised that Samsung's still doing the S line.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it till it doesn't work, right? And then they'll.
So now.
So like no.
Well, here's the catch. At what point does a 4G and G4 start getting twisted in people's heads?
It never does.
I don't think people even look at that though, right? Because they're going in and they're getting whatever is the new most expensive device at the time their upgrade is ready. For most people, most people on a carrier are getting subsidized devices. They're going to go in and they're going to look, and they're not going to see that G1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on LTE, 3G, 4G, whatever. They're going to see, one that's the price, and they're going to get it or not.
Well, I think the G line. Go for
it. Go ahead, Nick.
G line was something in IRC. I'll just throw that out there.
There you go. I think the G line has been successful enough for LG. Also, you think about it, life is good, LG, the G is in the name. I'm sure they're loving the whole G name.
Whoa, life is good. Wow.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, so they're happy with it. It's better than Optimus, so I think they're going to stick with it. I think 6 more years, at least. I think they're going to go all the way to the G9 if they can help it, and they may even still go beyond that.
No, you don't think so? Eric's shaking his head. Let's. Can we get a little gentleman's bet going?
It'll take
perhaps?
3 to 6 years for us to figure out who wins in this one, Eric or myself.
Nick, I'm going to steal this pen, and if you win, I will send you this pen.
Whoa. There you go.
I win, I get your
you get a pen.
That you're gonna read
you get a pen.
If I win,
I get a pen?
Yeah, you get to keep the pen.
Let's see. Let's talk about the Android issue tracker, where all good people go to track issues on Android. Having some issues itself, I'd say, getting overrun with things like spam, perhaps.
Yeah.
And they have raised the not the alarm, but they've let people know, and it just keeps happening. Yes, sir.
An issue.
I don't know where
it just doesn't work.
I don't know where all this spam is coming from, but Google, if you could use the spam filter that my Gmail has, that would be a good start.
That's actually the issue that's being tracked, the spam. So yeah.
That's
no,
awesome.
So yeah,
Please,
Google has a website where they're tracking these issues, and yeah, apparently they've stopped monitoring it or policing it or something, and they're not even using anything like a CAPTCHA or whatever. The Google made devices that are supposed to actually cut out spam, to prevent this. So it's just like an old forum. Maybe you guys may have posted on forums, years ago, then returned to them to see that no one's there posting, but spam bots and human spammers. Well, that kind of condition seems to exist on the Google issue tracking site. So right now it's filled with ads and just random comments and just crap, really. So they've kind of let it go, and I'm not sure if they're going to do anything about it, because they haven't for the last month or so. So.
Yes,
this
sir.
is some weird stuff.
Worst intro ever.
Sorry,
Have you guys looked at any of these pictures? If this is an issue still, go seek it out. Issue number 132061.
Yes.
And it is Get Muslim Black Magic Specialists in Navy, Mumbai.
It's pronounced
Navi.
Navi. It's pronounced Navi.
Isn't that the place where those blue people live?
Yes. No,
Oh, cool.
not the place. It was the name.
No, it's the people. They are.
Right. Let's not be racist now. The people.
Racist. Wow.
Navi.
This does look pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of control. Do you think this is just one of those legacy things that they just haven't got around to shutting down?
They may have forgotten about it.
Something.
But I mean, it's got to be there for something. If they have something to replace it, some other way of, letting users report bugs, I don't know what it would be necessarily. So.
Well, they have to know this is happening, because if you look at the screenshot that's on here, all of these issues are sequential. It's 131901 all the way up through 924. So they must see that they're getting hammered, just like a DDoS attack or something like that.
What if?
Yeah.
And this is a huge what if, but what if it's a rogue Google bot? Right? Now stay with me here. What if it's a rogue Google bot that is just hammering out these posts in there? It's become sentient. It doesn't know what to do.
What if the daemon is trying to communicate with us?
It has no .ht access. It's scared. This is its cry for help. Black magic.
So what's going to fix it? Muslim black magic?
Look how in Specialist, CIA just pops out at you. Is that weird? Look at that. Look at the text.
Does it? Let's look.
It does. CIA. Huh?
See, that's perfect.
Right?
Hey.
Googlebot, rogue.
It's a cry for help.
I'm going to call it rogue Googlebot. So hopefully they'll get Johnny 5 calmed down.
It seems
that little girl from The Exorcist. She's stuck in the computer now.
Right, fighting it out.
Not The Exorcist, in
The Ring.
Amityville, whatever.
The Ring.
Next, you're going to tell me that
Poltergeist.
the Google bot is going to take over the world, and we're going to need the Sarah James character from SarahJames.com or whatever the flying heck it was.
Bro. That's not this movie.
Oh, whoops.
That's a different movie.
And it was
All
Poltergeist.
right. Anything else you want to talk about? Some new cases that got leaked. Now, are these actual cases, or is case just another word for picture? Samsung, the S6 color.
It's a suitcase.
I don't even know what to believe anymore, you guys. You give me headlines to go off of here. I don't know. I feel like you're just setting me up now.
So Samsung's Galaxy S6 is on its way, and we're going to see an announcement next month. And as usual, the people that make the cases for Samsung products and other products, they tend to leak out images, of their cases that are going to come out. beforehand, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. And not only that, Samsung has sort of teased, in a flyer what the phone is going to look like as well there. So I don't know.
Nick, so what you're saying is that they've teased that it's going to look like every Galaxy S phone since the S3. Is that what you're saying?
Guess what? It's gonna look like a rectangle, you guys. The edges, they're round. Not gonna tell you how much, but they are rounded.
Well, actually,
no, it's gonna look like a G6, like a G6,
like a G6, like a G. That's pretty sweet, though. Do you think this is Samsung's marketing prowess here at work, being like, all right, there's a little something extra if you maybe take a leak here with these for us, please? Could you take this leak that I'm handing you and just put it out on the internet? Let them know.
It could be, but the interesting thing about the image that they teased is it actually looks more like their Galaxy Edge phone, the one that's built just like the Note but has an edge. So if you look at the picture.
What are you talking about?
The bevel.
Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, tell him, Nick.
It droops down, so.
Yeah. Look how it droops.
What droops? I see no droop.
There's a droop there. There's clearly. Are we looking at the same thing here? Eric, come on.
I think we found a
clearly a droop.
There's clearly a droop.
Okay. I'm not droop sensitive, so I'm not seeing it. But okay.
That's not your fault. Not everyone's eyes can pick up a subtle droop like that.
Maybe when we get to Barcelona, I'll be able to see it in those pictures.
Well, if you see all the droop, then you can see Drupal.
Drupal. Oh, can I just show you guys what this... Look at that. Look at that. Look at the edge. I mean, just... Do you see that thing?
So
Look at that droop.
There's two Samsung articles. One is talking about a leak where a leaked case has come out. And there's another one talking about the Unpacked event where they show what the phone looks like.
Did the case look like this? Did it have a droop in it for this?
Well, that's the thing. The case doesn't seem to show that, or if it does, they haven't shown that part of the case. So that's what's confusing people. So some people are presuming that there's two possible phones we might see, like a Galaxy S6 and a Galaxy S6 Edge. Kind of like there was a Note and then a Note Edge. So that's what a lot of people are thinking may occur. So.
Matt, what Nick is trying to tell you is that you need to apologize to me because I was on the correct article and you were looking at some droop article.
Hey, I was just.
I do see the droop now.
I was just going with the link that he provided.
The thing is that there's two leaks, and that's where the confusion comes from, because the case leak doesn't seem to indicate that. So that could.
And it wasn't like.
But
but
their own Unpacked teaser has the one with the edge, so that's why there's this issue.
How do normal, non-technologically advanced nerds digest this sort of stuff? I mean, if it wasn't for
very carefully,
how would you know anything ever? I didn't.
Most people buy phones on price and how they look.
Yeah, well, we couldn't just talk about that all the time now, could we?
Why not? Worked for Top Gear.
That is true, but they actually got to drive those.
Yeah, they actually have the budget to do that.
I think you can get laid with a car. I don't think you can get laid with a phone.
What if that phone cost $10,000 and was made by Ferrari?
Hey, they have cases now that are Ferrari. I mean, they're
actually. I got it. What if you use that phone to call an escort service? Boom. Got you, Eric. Eric, what's our email address, please?
Our email address is show@attackoftheandroids.com, ladies.
And gentlemen, I just want to say that Eric did finally figure out how I was reading his. That's awesome. Yeah, Joey, what is this main thing you were doing? Let me tell us about that real quick. Summarize. I'm not even kidding. I will cut you off at a minute real quick.
No problem. Summary is this: A Year in Maine, MAINE.com. I am going around the state of Maine every day for 365 days, and I am photographing something different within the state every single day. You get to see a video and a shot of the day and a link to, well, not all, but most of the shots that I take each day. That's really it.
Nice. ayearinmaine.com.
Yep. Come along for the ride.
Nick, what have you unboxed lately?
Well, just yesterday I unboxed the Sony HDR CX330. It's a camcorder. It's actually this one right here. So
Nice.
I'm going to be basically filming a series of videos based on this camcorder because I intend to use this to replace the existing webcam and Nexus 5 smartphone that I've been doing for my local and remote, sort of imagery. Or if I would do an unboxing, I would use this smartphone to do that. Well, both of these are smaller megapixel cameras, and they don't do 60 frames per second at 1080p. Well, this does 1080p 60. Long story short, I'm going to be doing more with this, an impressions video, showing footage, and a review video. So I've got a playlist I'll be adding.
And now you can do multi-camera shoots now.
Yes.
I mean, just upping that game for the people that haven't set their bar low for the content they consume.
That's right. Especially my content.
That's right. Also, I got an article on a new domain about the Exploding Kittens Kickstarter from the Oatmeal. We talked about it on the Jam Hole. But yeah, definitely check out the article. And Breaking Android, still happening over on BreakingModern.com. You can check that out. Got a couple more articles from CES still that finally got published. So, yay! All that stuff. Just check it out. Links to it are in the show notes that Eric writes so lovingly and wittingly at attacktheandroids.com. So thanks for listening. Join us on the social networks in between shows. Yeah. And we'll catch you guys next week. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.